talk a little bit about how to use the OptiFlexPro with some complex or difficult, challenging powders. A lot of people are familiar with the term candy coatings, whether that be a candy red like you see on this wheel, or perhaps even something more of a candy blue like you see with this manifold cover. These are what we would call translucent coatings. Generally very challenging to apply, give you a beautiful looking finish, but the OptiFlexPro can make these a lot easier by utilizing some of the capabilities that it has for coating these types of materials. First, let's understand in a lot of these cases, these candy materials are multi-component powder coatings. So rather than just spraying one powder and you get the look, in the case of these, it's generally at least two, maybe sometimes three coats that would be applied to achieve the final look that you're after. If it's a two-coat process, in the case of this wheel, we would approach the coating of the wheel with the base coating, cure that, and then apply a second layer over the top of that. And that might be your translucent material, which would give it, you would pick up some of the base coating as well as being able to provide this candy, really beautiful candy color look that you see here. In some cases, people will want an even higher gloss level and might add a clear coat over the top of that. That would be a third coating. So as you can imagine, every time that we're applying a powder coating to this product, each layer gets more and more challenging to coat. So let's talk about how we might approach this with using some of the electrostatic control that we have with the OptiFlexPro. If we are applying our first base coat layer, one of the first things we'll want to do on a wheel like this, which has got some complexity to it, most likely we'll want to use our complicated parts mode. That allows us to be able to have 100,000 volts and current limited to 22 microamps. Utilizing that setting allows us to be able to get into the wheel itself without generating any back ionization from these various Faraday areas that you see inside the webbing of the wheel. Once that base layer is applied, then we would want to apply our second coat. So when we're ready to do that, we may find that the complicated parts mode is still too much electrostatic power. And so a lot of times what people find is on that second layer, we would adjust using the recoat mode, which is a mode that allows the unit to be at 100,000 volts, and then the current is at 10 microamps. So it's limiting the power coming out of the gun. So utilizing the recoat mode, we would then apply the second coat onto the wheel and get a beautiful finish. If we were to find that in any of those first or second coats that we were finding too much power, as a result we were getting some back ionization, that orange peel look that starts to appear, there are a couple things that you can do to compensate for that. Obviously from a coating standpoint, you can move the gun away with a greater target distance. That allows you to be able to have the gun positioned a little bit farther away, better utilization of the spray pattern, and be able to get good coverage. Alternatively, you may find that instead of starting with the 22, we might have to start with the recoat mode and lay that base layer of powder on. And then if we have done that, going to our second layer, we may find that we'd have to go into the program mode, and in this case, we would want to start at a setting that is at least half of our recoat mode, which was fixed at 10 microamps. In this case, we'll set our custom program here at 5 microamps and 100,000 volts on the voltage setting, and that will limit the power even more. So in that particular case, applying that second or even third layer of powder on the wheel as we go around there, using this custom program mode would allow us to be able to get the powder to cover in a very uniform fashion and with the highest efficiency and minimizing the amount of back ionization. For those extreme situations where maybe you're still finding back ionization occurring, or you're adding even a third or fourth layer, you may find that going into your program mode and choosing to drop down even further, say 2.5 as a starting point, 2.5 microamps, and 100,000 volts on the power would allow you to be able to get the product coated. The idea behind these multi-coats is they give you a beautiful finish, but they can be very challenging as they are easily charged and back ionization or that orange peel effect that can traditionally occur with too much overcharging on the surface can happen. So just being comfortable of utilizing the complex mode and recoat mode, or starting at recoat mode and then using some custom programming, but limiting the current and leaving the voltage high is the key to success electrostatically. And of course, always adjusting the target distance as you feel is appropriate. Whether that's the candy apple red that we see here or the candy blue, both of these colors are good examples that would utilize similar technique on electrostatics. As far as the actual coating technique on coating something like this, let me just remind you that for any type of application, you always want to take advantage of utilizing the nozzle in either a vertical or horizontal fashion, and then adjusting your arm as you coat. Like a lot of things in life, we do the hardest things first. So on this wheel, we would approach coating the inside of each of the webs, just moving the gun slowly in and around to be able to get a proper coating. Proper target distance would be somewhere in that 2 to 4 inches. You can adjust as needed based on the coverage that you're looking for. We want to get the gun in close enough, but we also want to allow the gun to be able to take effective use of the powder cloud that's coming out, or the pattern size that's being emitted from the nozzle. But once we've gone around and done each of the webs, we might come in and get the center where the nuts, the center lug would be, and then once we have done all of those hard parts, we'll finish it off with a uniform coating around the perimeter and maybe a zigzag back and forth to be able to build the millage, the thickness that we need. Remember, always go slow, keeping the gun at a uniform target distance and position, and you should have effective results coating whatever color you're doing, whether it's candy apple blue, candy apple red, or any other color in between. We hope that you can be successful with the OptiFlexPro series gun, and we'll look forward to seeing you at our next video.